These are 5 young men who drove into the mountains after a concert. Their truck was found still running, but they were gone. Months later, only one body was found, inside a trailer loaded with food, warmth, and clothing, intact. What could cause a man to starve when life was still within reach? Ash Valley, Oregon, April 7th, 1985. It was supposed to be just another weekend trip. The band had just wrapped a small but electric show at the Cascade Grounds Festival, an open-air concert buried deep in the forest foothills. Rain had fallen all day, soaking the wooden stage and muddying the field, but no one cared. Hey there, I'm Ira Thomas Glass. Today I'm excited to take you on this journey with me. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out on more captivating stories from us. Now, let's dive right in. Maybe the echoes were never just music. Maybe they were warnings, echoes of something we weren't meant to hear. And now that you've heard them, maybe they've heard you too. If this story shook something inside you, share it. Let someone else feel it too. Because truth doesn't fade. It just waits for the right ears to listen. Tell me below, what do you think happened that night? Do you believe the echoes are truly gone? Or are they still singing somewhere? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. This is just one chapter of the strange. We're only getting started, but one frame, one clear shot pauses the internet. A synthesizer, old and cracked with frost, leaning against a tree. On the side, barely legible under rust, property of Sam Elridge. Sam, the quietest of the 5. Sam, who never recorded solo. Sam, whose body was never found. And in the final seconds of the video, before the camera battery dies, we hear something faint. Too faint to confirm, but too clear to ignore. A low hum, a note from a song that was never released. People say it was Drew's voice, but no one knows for sure. And the uploader? That video was their last post. No one's heard from them since. Sam isn't Sam anymore. Drew hums songs no one wrote. I've been writing this letter for 3 weeks. I don't think I'm the one writing anymore. After the letter was authenticated and publicized, speculation erupted online. Reddit threads, YouTube explainers, paranormal podcasts. Some believed the echoes had stumbled into a government testing site. Others swore they crossed into a parallel time loop. A fringe group suggested Mike had summoned something with their music. That sound itself had become a doorway. But then came the final twist. April 2024. A small YouTube urban explorer channel, Liminal Eyes, uploaded a video titled, "We Found What Mike Saw." In it, they hike to a remote area near Glen Ridge, following only Mike's journal pages, publicly released the year prior. What they find is blurred, hard to see. The video glitches, static creeps in. I remember the bell tower. No birds, no wind, just that high ring even when nothing moved. One detail haunted investigators. Mike mentions street signs, names like Hollow Pine, Carver Lane, and Elridge Circle. But when state search teams were deployed to those coordinates, nothing was there. Just hills, rock, and dead trees. Until someone found the photo. A hiker, curious about the case after the news broke, posted a series of drone images from the Glen Ridge National Forest. One showed, faintly buried beneath a layer of snow and tree cover, the outline of a cul-de-sac, circular, symmetrical, like a town had once been there, and someone had tried to erase it. Mike's letter ended with this: "We thought they were echoes, that they'd go away if we ignored them. But they weren't sounds. They were memories, trapped here, things that shouldn't be remembered. We thought we heard applause, out there in the trees, but the show had ended. The van was packed. We should have left. But Sam, he said he saw her again, the woman in red, no shoes, just standing in the snow, swaying like there was still music playing. We followed, not because we believed him, because we were curious. From there, Mike described a path they followed that night, a path no one had mapped, leading away from the mountain road, into a dense part of forest, now referred to by locals as the ridge that sleeps. Most maps don't name it. Older ones do, but only faintly. He wrote about a town that shouldn't exist. It was silent. All the homes had chimneys, but no smoke. Doors open, tables set, but no people. Sam kept saying he remembered it from a dream. Drew said it looked like a movie set. There was a school, empty desks, a piano still playing a note, like the key had been jammed down and left. But a theory began to form, hushed and whispered only between those closest to the case. Mike hadn't been alone in that cabin, not the whole time. And maybe, just maybe, he wasn't the last to die. 2 weeks after Mike's body was found, a package arrived at the Glen Ridge Sheriff's Office. No return address. Inside was a single manila envelope, weather-stained and brittle, with only 3 words written on the front: for Drew's mother. The handwriting was messy, familiar. It was Mike's. Inside was a letter, 12 pages long, written in cramped ink, as if it had been scrawled in near darkness. But it wasn't addressed to Drew's mom. It was written to all of them, the mothers, the fathers, the people left behind. And it didn't read like a goodbye. It read like a confession. And then one final entry, short and haunting: "I think the mountain is listening." That was the last we ever heard from Mike. When the sheriff's team tried to leave with the evidence, something stopped them. The cabin door wouldn't open from the inside. No lock, no jam, just stuck, as if something on the other side was holding it shut. They had to break a window to escape. That part never made it into the official report. And the circle of wood and stones that Mike had built? By the time investigators returned a day later with forensic teams and reporters, it was gone. Not disturbed, not dismantled, gone. As if it had never existed. No one could explain it. Don't answer them. They're not real. Don't sleep. They feed when you sleep. That was it. The tape ended. Forensics confirmed the body had been there for at least 6 weeks. But here's the impossible part. The last entry in Mike's notebook was dated February 25th. That meant he had been alive for 2 months after the night of the concert, alone, writing, recording, watching something or someone from the cracks in the wall. His notes were erratic, scrawled across pages in increasing panic. Some were mundane: heater busted, left food untouched, Drew keeps singing in his sleep. But then it twisted. Sam isn't cold, he walks outside barefoot. Someone whistled the melody we never recorded. There are more footprints now, but we're still 5. That line struck the investigators. Still 5, but only Mike had been found. No trace of the others. Not because there wasn't food. There were cans stacked neatly in a crate nearby. Not because there wasn't warmth. The old propane heater was untouched. He simply hadn't used them. He had chosen to die in silence, surrounded by survival, but untouched by it. And then the tape. Authorities recovered a portable cassette player beside him. The battery had long since died, but the tape inside was labeled in black marker, "For anyone who finds me." It took days to restore the audio, and even then, it wasn't clear what we were hearing. Muffled wind, static, the creak of wood under slow footsteps, and a voice, Mike's voice, whispering. They told us not to run, but we had to. Sam said he saw her again. She wasn't blinking. She wasn't real. Then silence. Then a second voice. Not Mike. Male. Calm. Deeper. It was speaking from somewhere further away. Snowfall had come late that year. Thick and silent, it blanketed the mountains like a burial shroud. By mid-March, search efforts had thinned to a trickle. Just a few volunteers, a tired sheriff, and a dog too old to keep track of ghosts. But on March 19th, almost 3 months after the disappearance, a hunter named Claude Remick made a call that froze the dispatcher in place. He had found a body. It was Mike, inside a decaying ranger's cabin, 10 miles northeast of where the van had been discovered. Mike's remains lay on the wooden floor. He was curled against the far wall, almost fetal, his hand clutching something plastic, a cassette tape. His eyes were closed, face peaceful, eerily so, but the skin on his fingers was shredded. Scratches covered the cabin door, deep gouges etched into the floorboards, circling something drawn in twigs and stones, a perfect ring, like a ritual or warning. Mike had starved to death. A crushed cassette, a torn lyric notebook, but no blood, no signs of a struggle, just absence. 5 warm jackets still hung on the van's back seat. Search teams were called in. Helicopters flew grid patterns. Volunteers combed the forest with dogs and radios. For weeks, nothing. And then the snow began to fall. 3 months later, June 19th, 1985, a group of hikers stumbled upon a U.S. Forestry Service trailer, 20 miles northeast of where the van had been abandoned. The door was slightly ajar. Inside, they found a sleeping bag, a rusted stove, and in the far corner, the body of Mike Henderson, guitarist, age 23. His feet were frostbitten. His body weighed just over 100 pounds. But around him were sealed cans of food, a working propane heater, a wool-lined coat, everything he needed to live. He hadn't used any of it. A cassette tape was next to him, tightly gripped in his hand, labeled Cascade Grounds Final Mix. They'd done it before. Campfires, late-night talks, music under the sky. Their road was narrow and winding, climbing toward the higher trails, where pine trees crowded the shoulders and the temperature dropped fast after sunset. That was the last time anyone saw them. The discovery. 2 days later, a forest ranger spotted the van. It was parked crookedly off the shoulder of Route 112, near Grizzly Hollow. The doors were unlocked. The keys were still in the ignition. The battery had long since died, but the fuel gauge showed they had more than half a tank. Inside, chaos. Empty soda cans. The Echoes, a local synth-rock group of 5 friends, played like it was Madison Square Garden. That night, the crowd chanted their name. People they didn't know sang along. They weren't just 5 young men from a forgotten town for a few hours. They were stars. After the show, they loaded up their beat-up white Chevy van. Someone, probably Drew, suggested they take a detour. "Let's drive up to Mirror Ridge. Clear skies tonight, we'll see the stars like diamonds," he'd said. It wasn't unusual.